with St. Pierre and with BJ Penn, this is what I believe. The first fight, first round, BJ wins. Third round of the first fight, St. Pierre clearly wins. It's the second round that you have an argument, and you can argue either way and be intelligent about how you argue either side. In this fight now, the size will be a factor for the first 2 rounds. It will definitely be a factor for the first 2 rounds. BJ's hands are much better. He has much better striking than St. Pierre does.
All right.
He comes forward. He's actually much more aggressive than St. Pierre is, and he's not scared to get in the pocket and swing and throw. The problem is he gives up a little bit in reach, which is obvious.
Right.
But then he's going to give up 17 pounds in weight. That first 2 rounds, until you can get through that stage of where both guys are really, really fresh and everybody's going nuts, when both guys settle in, that's when BJ's going to start to take over. So St. Pierre can quite easily in my mind, win 1 and 2 without a problem. And then, obviously, in the third round, and BJ might start sneaking one in, and then he's got to win 3, 4, and 5 just to make it viable. But what I do see happening is I see BJ winning a very close decision in a decision. It's going to be a 5-rounder. I think both these guys are too tough. They're too tough to go on to quit at any point in time.
Right.
I don't see any weird positions where you saw with like BJ and Matt Hughes, where Matt got him in that side crucifix and just kept hammering him there at the end. And BJ admitted, look, not only tears intercostal, but he was exhausted. He was out of shape. He's in the main difference I see in this fight, after you look at all their techniques, look at everything on paper, they're very evenly matched. The main thing I see at the end of the night, at the end of the day, that everything is pretty much different is that St. Pierre is fighting for his title, to hold his belt, and BJ ultimately at the end of the day just wants to fight to prove that he can beat him.
Right. He
cares less about the belts and stuff. We saw it before with the controversy when he took the belt and left. He really doesn't care about the belt. It's about being a champ, about being a champion, but not being a champ of a weight division. He just wants to win, and he believes in his heart of hearts that he can beat St. Pierre up, and that's why he's not part of it too. He's selling the fight, so we saw that controversial stuff. He said he's selling the fight, which is fine, but he really believes that he can beat this guy. He really believes he can go out there and beat this guy, and a determined, in shape, ready to go BJ Penn is probably one of the most devastating guys in the world. I think with BJ in shape, if he does 5 fights in a row or 6 fights in a row in shape the way he should, that we'll be talking about him as pound for pound the best fighter in the world, and not Fedor Emelianenko.
I'm on board with you, and I thought it was actually in the minority on this one on BJ Penn. I do think he has the potential, if he wins this fight, to vault to the top of the pound for pound list. I think his hands are amazing. That's the thing I have most respect for, because he tore up George in that first fight, and then you hear boxing people talk about BJ and just how good he is, and you saw him against Sean Shirk, but you're going against conventional wisdom with the order of the fight, because I think most people would assume that BJ would get off to a good start. Maybe it's on the feet. As time goes along, he runs out of gas. George catches up with some takedowns. So it's an odd take to go with the reverse, that BJ will actually be all right early, not so great, but then continue in terms of strength throughout the fight. He's not going to gas.
That's what I'm hearing from his camp. That's what I'm hearing from inside. I'm talking to a couple of guys in his camp I know very well, so I'm actually talking to them and speaking with them, saying, "What's the deal here?" And they're like, "Look, man, it's a totally different BJ. It's BJ in shape. It's BJ ready to go. It's a more mature BJ. It's a guy that's a little bit older now. He's not just some little young, helo punk running around. He's a kid that really knows what it takes now to be a real MMA fighter. And he's always had the skills, and now he just had to put his mind and determination behind to make it happen. And it's dialed in. It's ready to go."
Talk about the mental part of the game, because obviously you've had to deal with this, through injuries, and as you get older, and then different weight classes and all that. I still believe that there's a small part of GSP that is susceptible to some of the talk, that is susceptible to a little bit of the lack of confidence in certain areas. Will that lead to a different fight plan? Could you see, to me, his best approach in this fight? I know BJ is great on the ground and good with the submissions, but I actually think George should go in there with the mindset of a wrestler and try to slow the pace down and not stand with BJ.
I agree with you. Someone asked me the other day, how do you beat BJ Penn if you're George St. Pierre? I'm like, take him down. You don't take him down. You don't just hold on to him. You're not going to sit there and clamp in and just try to keep it on the ground. But you're going to take him down and pepper him, hit him with those elbows, and elbow him,
score points.
Thighs, score points, keep it banging out, gets back to his feet, get right back in, 1-2 punch, looking for the takedown again, get him back on the ground, and make him tired of having to get out from underneath my 187 pounds at 170 pounds himself. That's the best way to do it. What happens a lot with St. Pierre is that he's so athletically gifted, and he is so quick, and he is so motion, and he did destroy so many guys so easily that all of a sudden this hype comes along. A lot of it has to do with now that if you bully him back, he doesn't like it very well. And so BJ's a guy that's not scared to bully you back. And that is that mental click in there that can kind of step in and grab a hold of you and destroy your entire night, because you're ready to go. You're in there. You think you mean well. You mean to be in that spot, but then all of a sudden, you know, you hit BJ with his best shot, and he turn around and hit you twice in the body and 3 times in the head, and then he's in the middle of all of a sudden trying to submit you again. Like, dude, I just hit him with my best shot, and I got hit 5 times, and I'm defending a submission for my life. You know, all of a sudden you start to fade, and it depends on how tough you're going to be. The rumor is that St. Pierre has worked on it heavily, but you won't know it until you see that time when it happens. You don't know if he's actually in the middle of that, and if that mental is still going to be a problem. The only time you won't see any of it until you know that, oh, he mentally broke. You'll never be a point of view going, oh, he's still mentally strong. He's still mentally strong. You never see that. The only time we see is when it's negative and it falls apart. And then in a guy like St. Pierre, because of the way he fights, it's devastating. You see the fall apart. You know, you see the and you go back to the Matt Hughes St. Pierre first fight, and that's what happened. He was giving it to Matt, he's beating Matt up, he's taking it to Matt, and all of a sudden he got scooped into the cage and got bounced off, got hit for that double, got taken down, turned around, and ended up in the armbar. And you could see him. He just like, wow, I just got manhandled. I don't know, what do I do now? And so hopefully, for me, I really think, I'm going to be very happy with whichever guy fights or whichever guy wins, because this fight is going to be exciting regardless of which way it goes.
Is there another fight on the card you're really looking forward to in terms of, it doesn't even have to have huge ramifications. Obviously, the Silva-Machida fight is a big one because it could set up a title shot against Rashad Evans. You know what I'm intrigued to see is Karo Parisian and where Karo is, just from the mental standpoint and the injury standpoint. So what's the fight you're most fired up about beyond the main event?
It's the Machida fight, because I really do like Machida. I like how he fights. Everyone calls him, Joe Rogan's famous word is he's so elusive.
Yeah.
He's really not that elusive. He just bends from the middle of his waist and keeps your head from getting, being able to hit him. I am concerned though with Karo Parisian. I was trying to find out, what's he been doing, where's he been at, where's he been training. Nobody seems to really know. Like, everyone said he's not a Greg Jackson. So unless they're playing this game where nope, he's not here, and that's where he really was, we don't know. We made some inquiries to try to find out, because I really wanted to see what he was doing, how he felt, and what was going on with him and his cousin Manny. And I haven't really haven't found anything on him, so I don't know. And that's one of my concerns is, has he been training? What's he been doing? And hopefully he has, so he can come out heavy. And I really want to see the Silva-Machida fight, because both guys are 13-0, so someone's going to come with their first loss. And I think that Machida just has the ability to be a champ for a long time, but he's going to be a champ like Tim Silva used to be, where he's a champ and he's beating everybody's butt and he's winning these fights, but okay, he's fighting again, we really don't care. But he really is exciting if you can get him into a scramble position and make him have to move and keep attacking him and have someone else become really aggressive with him, then he steps up his game, but no one steps up their game to him. The last guy that stepped up the game, really, that I can recall, the last guy that stepped up the game heavily against Machida was Rich Franklin, and he caught that left hand and got knocked out. I
think Silva will push the pace. I think Silva's a pretty aggressive fighter, no?
He is an aggressive fighter, but he will until all of a sudden you throw 7 punches and all 7 miss. And obviously, like, well, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now?
Right.
And if I'm Silva, I don't even aim for Machida's head. I don't even aim for his head. I'm looking for his body. I'm trying to hit him to the body. Hit him in the body. I'm kicking his legs out. I could care less about hitting him in the head. I don't want to hit him in the head. So I'm going to keep chasing him by kicking him and punching him in the gut, kicking him and punching him in the gut, and just watching out for that left hand. That's his big knockout blow. Make sure that I drift. If the left hand comes at me, I make sure that I drift, and I come right back into the body again and come underneath, and then kick him, try half a takedown, or maybe hit him in the head on the way out as he's running away again. But I'm not going to definitely try to hit his head. If he tries to hit his head, he's going to get destroyed again. Or not again, but he's going to get destroyed like everybody else has against Machida.
All right, every day you can catch him on Tag Radio, TAGGradio.com, and also Trigonomics.
Yep, still going strong, like everybody else.
Yep. Buy his stuff.
Yeah, please buy my stuff.
All right, thanks, Trigg.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.